Control on every freaking mode, man. Hey, Wowie, what are you doing?
Dad, I like this house and stuff.
You like this house?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope you
It's
do.
your house and Mommy's.
But you basically said in the past that Oscar De La Hoya was paying to not have his nude photos or zesty photos released.
Stop right there.
It's been said that
No,
you
no,
were
there.
talking to Nipsey's family about the gay tapes of him not coming out. I don't know if there's money involved in that. It's been suggested that maybe Kim Kardashian at one point or Kanye, that they were doing stuff for you so that you didn't release more sex tapes of her.
Okay. Now, let's start with the first one.
And when academics kind of tried to bring up some of this stuff,
You know what because you're dumb.
See, right there.
You're a dummy too. You're a dummy.
Starting makes you look more guilty.
I'm going to show you why.
We're contesting
Mr. De La
Alpha.
Hoya. If you listen to the conversation, it clearly state this is what the attorneys worked out. See, the minute the attorneys are involved, right? This is not extortion.
Put your head down
This
and
is a
secure the
business
target.
deal. Scotty talked about it openly on Club Shay Shay. Right? So the minute you get attorneys involved, see, if you have something, right? That's yours. It's yours.
Alpha.
And you got the consent to have it.
Okay.
And you like, hey, bro, check this out. This is really pertaining to you. Hey, attorney, such. Hey, attorney, tell them if you need possession of this shit.
We're defending Alpha.
You know, right? They negotiate, they draw their paperwork, right? He never one time talks to Oscar De La Hoya. Right? There's never conversation between the two. The minute you get attorneys involved in these type of situations, that's not an extortion, right? So we're going to Kanye next, right? This story on Bootleg Cab did it not. Bootleg Cab said, "What's up with these extra tapes I've been hearing about?" I said, "Yeah, it's a couple extra tapes." He like, "What you gonna do with them?" I said, "We would never do anything with them but give them the content." You can pull it up, right? So guess who calls me?
The Kardashians.
Kanye.
Or Kanye.
What up, bro? And I said, "Boy,
Lost Alpha.
which one, little bro? You know? Yeah, tell him, send him to the airport." Bro, ran it. I went to the airport, gave it to him. What do you see? Extortion.
Maybe some of that stuff is above board. People are assuming that if you were doing all this type of stuff, then maybe you were also hitting up the food vendors outside the restaurant.
Stop right there. The stuff I've done. Everything I just laid out to you was either it was a business deal, or it was a man keeping his word and just saying, here.
You realize most people don't monetize their life in such a way. There's anything inherently illegal about it, but most people don't obtain sex tapes and then profit off of not releasing them.
Yes, the profit came after the initial release. The shit went up to like 03.
Oh, bitch.
The sex.
Again, Kanye went on the show and delivered the drive. Has anything ever come out?
Yeah, but Kim K's an
Damn it.
She ain't ever did nothing.
Kanye's homie, right?
Well, that has nothing. That's his.
You're trying hard as a
motherfucker. So when you asked me about it, he said, "Bro, what y'all going to make?" I said, "We would never do that." Like, and at this time, I wasn't, New Yates talked up.
Sit your ass.
Like, that's my at this
Y'all
time.
are not even good. I just went like
said,
1-8 on
they just sit over and say, like, man, that's it. He got killed. That was some real shit. They just give it to him. And it's absolutely not. But he asked me that on the show. So they called my phone.
I KD better in their first place.
Control. Take all enemy zones. Securing B. Securing Alpha. Hostiles contesting A.
Trophy system was eliminated.
Taking multiple zones. Taking Bravo underway. Capturing multiple zones. Hostile forces are contesting Alpha. Enemies contesting Alpha. Enemies contesting Bravo. We're capturing multiple zones. Good job. Enemies are contesting A.
Good.
Time's nearly up. Close it down. Enemies contesting Alpha. Zone A secure. The enemy is low on lives. Taking B. Controlling Bravo. Enemy team contesting B.
Damn.
Securing B. Now, hit them again before they mount a counter-offensive.
Shit.
That nigga talk.
Hey, this guy owe
I said,
me
yeah,
rent.
he said, I seen it.
You owe me rent living in our spawn, bro. Play like you wouldn't on them, nothing but a mistake.
Control. Work quick and clean. No witnesses. We're losing Alpha. Losing Bravo. They're taking multiple zones. Defend them. We're contesting Bravo. We're contesting A. Enemies are all over our zones. We're defending Alpha. We're defending A. We lost A.
Good shit,
Losing B.
Shit.
Losing Bravo. We don't have the reserves for this. Hostile reinforcements below. Losing B. Not much time left. Put this to bed.
Oh, fuck.
We're out of lives. Proceed with caution. Losing Bravo.
Oh my god.
You're a kill team of 1. Put your head down and close this out. Losing B. There's only 1 traitor left. Eliminate them. Losing Bravo.
Oh!
Failure's not in Crimson's lexicon. Do better.
That's real? I said, yes. I'm gonna get it. I said, I just had a little bro break it to you because well, discussion because that was right.
So there was never a time when Big U said to you, hey, this weed shop, they owe me 20 grand, can you go grab it?
I never did that type of business with him. I'm gonna be real. I've never ever seen him personally. I've never seen him take nothing from
Engagement
nobody.
windows open. Go, go, go!
I got a lot of people that's close friends of mine that I may see once every 6-7 months.
Right.
I don't run with nobody. There's no human being do I run with every day.
You were doing your own business with
I had a trucking business going on, a music business going on, a real estate business going on. Y'all gotta remember, we was trying to bring him into the fold
Taking Alpha.
to help him find a lane for him. You get what I'm saying? That's all that was position the table, different grips, gloves, power rules from different
We're taking
sections.
multiple zones.
Right, that we feel could be a voice of power as folks who want to be part of the music industry. Those of us that have certain clubs and connections, right?
So you were trying to bring in more of
Hostile forces
That was
exposed.
our people, right? And everybody can tell you
MTC's nearly
that
dry.
those
Get serious.
for the bridging gap. It's why bringing K Slay out here because we had lost all our radio out there. Me and K Slay built the bomb.
It's
Taking A. We're running low on lives. Hostiles contesting A. capturing multiple zones. Securing zone A. Taking B.
Two of them.
The enemy is low on life. Alpha secure. Controlling Bravo. Hostiles contesting Bravo. Damn it. All lives expended. Taking Bravo underway. You're the last one standing. Finish the job. Not your best work. Clean it up.
All up to this one.
Control. Defend all zones. Time's nearly up. Close it down.
Bitch. Mm.
It's my new shirt.
Hold on.
Bravo.
Which one? Looney Tunes.
Hostile reinforcements are low.
Oh, you got it in?
Yeah, but I think I need both of them.
Nice. I think I had that shirt.
Oh, I want this. I don't want you to get.
All units prepare for
Get your ass out of here.
Yeah,
None of you are good. The only guy that's good on your team is a guy can't.
Man,
spawn.
shut your ass up.
Yeah, the rest of you are not.
I want to tell you again, shut up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think I had that shirt. For real. What you get that shirt for? Is it supposed to look like this?
60% cotton.
No.
The style.
That looks too big.
No.
What do you think? You gonna wash this on track?
Hold your arms up, right?
That's big enough on track? Or is it too big?
Big. No, I'll say.
You think when you wash it, it's gonna be too small?
It feels like I'm wearing it. Feels like my other shirt.
We'll wash it and we'll see.
Oh. They're not Charlie Bet. Here, I'll use that one.
Yeah. Shut your ass up. Damn.
But I didn't keep all the different neighborhoods, allowed the rappers to exchange numbers with Slay, and then they built with Slay. They did mixtapes and did shit, and boom, so vice versa. So when Slay needed things for Papoose at the time out here, it was just a phone call and we made it happen. So we was trying to rebuild the bridge that should get burned down. Because at this point in time, it was like they was over there and we was over here. It really wasn't nobody conversating. So we came up with this bridging the gap thing. And that's how that started. But all the business, the real estate business, I did what we helped him with his home. The Nipsey Hussle business, Gang spoke on that on Vlad. What else did we help him do? When he started to build the Crenshaw Coast organization, we get my artists to post the signups. Scooty, by this time, Scooty Bikes was hot. So us having Ray J show up on the flyer, Ray J's coming to give away a free Scooty Bike to the whatever. Everything we did with him was business. And I'm going to be real. Anybody that know Big U, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Part of his problem I had with him about the music business is he, like, I would tell him, yo, such and such sign the artist. He like, bro, I only want to sign people from my area. Right. Big U's a dude that's big on his area. And I'm going to be real with saying that. I think Big U only would do this type of shit with people from his area. If you look at the indictment, everybody is from his area. Right. I don't think Big U trusts to go outside his bubble to do any type of criminal acts.
Because that's why extortion has become so much less popular over the years, is because people are more willing to go to the cops. The cops take it extremely seriously. So the real primary candidates to extort are people who are doing illegal business, like a sort of black market weed shop makes sense, a strip club, who knows what kind of stuff they got going on. You can extort a drug dealer because they can't really go to the cops in the same way. You know, like, people always kind of assume that, like, has been extorted, but nobody's going to come to us and extort us.
Somebody asked me that last night.
Because what am I going to do? Call the cops.
Somebody asked me that. I said,
your whole operation's going to fall apart.
First of all, let's be real. Unlike a marijuana shop, there's no money on hand here.
That's it.
Your money comes from
cash.
Get it done. So it's not like so. Because of that, like when I was reading it, or Prince was reading it, you know what I mean? It was kind of like, see, because I know the time frame, and I know what I'm hearing. It was kind of like when I backed up from him, right? He went back to his old roots. Because I'm gonna be real, a lot of the people was against me bringing him to the table.
Because they thought he was shady.
They scared of him. They thought he was shady. Like, yo, whack, fuck, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of my people was against it, and that's why you never hear his name tied to nobody else's name like it was mine. Because they dealt with him when they had to. I was a dude that when they got to know his family,
trying to be a real
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I go to his crib, my crib, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to know his family, and, you know, I can do it, go show up, certain funerals and things, you know what I'm saying? People I had met, like Sandman, and people I had been to a couple funerals. I've been to his mom's house, you know what I'm saying? I met his pops. So it was kind of like, we kind of had a brotherhood going on. But once again, at this time,
we don't have the reserves for this.
8 out of 10 conversations I got a call from him.
We're contesting
was him calling me because somebody was on his phone pretending to be. So what he did turn into, what we did help him turn into, was he was a magnet name. If you could get to him, you could get it done. Everybody couldn't get to me. I didn't talk. I wasn't dealing with you. I didn't talk to him. If you can get to Big U, what I did, you got that some whack could help with.
Take
Big
it
U
on
will call.
Get ready for the next round.
They got citizens on the phone. They're trying to do this, that, and other. At that point, Big U job was done because he didn't. So he would never really take the time to understand how to do it. His whole perception is if I got the people around me that know how to do it, and I bring the people that want it, then I'm part of it anyway. You get what I'm saying? And he knew with me, because I was generally trying to help him, I would never request anything from him. I would just get him. I wanted to say, basically, I have another theory. It's about football and music industry, but I want you to get that Jay-Z test on it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's like, what about the fact that everybody knows what I'm saying is true related to that photo that I put with my youngest daughter, right? But everything is like, you know, but you offended Jay-Z. Fuck him. Fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Look at it like this. Why? Let's take it to money. How much money do you think Jay-Z make off my catalog versus what I make off it? Next subject. Some of them I feel like, whoa.
Enemies are contesting
You won't get situations. I didn't see that. Like, nobody really spoke on your behalf. And when you don't get kid, people might be like, well, you put yourself in the past. Absolutely, I did. That was my fault. They're saying that take a time. No, that was my fault. I didn't want to have children with this person after the first 2 months of being with him. That wasn't God's plan. But my issue with all these faggot ass celebrity niggas is, if you ain't gonna speak on my behalf of the situation I'm in right now, with my children or where I was in my house years ago, don't talk about my political views. That's your tea. Like, I love when you ask you about me, say we ain't speaking on Ye. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how y'all looking at me like a bitch, because you a street nigga. But it ain't that time anymore. I'm the boss. You niggas is broke. You niggas is not masterminds. You niggas should never have ever gone. Look at John Legend on CCS. I ain't never do nothing wrong to that nigga. I changed generations of his life. And they got that faggot ass hot sweater nigga come up and just this nigga wears sweaters in motherfucking August and Barbados. John Legend and Master Teddy.
Again, this is director's cut, so I'm sorry. But Jay said Barbados is hilarious. I'm sorry. I gotta run that back. I'm sorry. John Legend, nothing against bro. I'm just saying, this is director's cut right here. Y'all gonna all have the full footage. Y'all gonna do whatever with it. I will not be in it afterwards, other than me talking to him. But Barbados is hilarious. I'm sorry.
Never do nothing wrong to that nigga. I changed generations of his life. And they got that faggot ass hot sweater nigga come up and just this nigga wears sweaters in motherfucking August and Barbados. John Legend and Master Teddy. So no, he said he smelled like mashed potatoes and not potatoes. They used to be your guy though. Like it's almost like this shit too. Like even the Pusha, the J, the like there's a long list. Even Cardi, like I feel like I don't see like step the line where maybe at a point Jay's like, man, I'm cool. Like I think after that tweet he definitely, you know, and I don't know if these are relationships I salvage. I want to salvage relationships with still. Why would I want to salvage relationships with broken ass slaves and slave herders? Like everybody, so that's what I'm saying. The Jay-Z thing leads me to the NFL. Why do they want a Drake to be out of there? Why do they want somebody with no hits like Kendrick to do the Super Bowl? Like, this is a theory I have. The people that run the Super Bowl have to come to people who run the music industry and be like, you guys, you're letting your neighbors get out of hand. Oh my God, that Kanye. This ain't gonna take a knee for a really hard. He's out of there. See, that's the problem. You let him last too long. And I'm really good for 2 years, 3 years. They're out of there. They deal with Tom Brady's great. You know, we made Mahomes kicking Super Bowl. You know, so Tom can get a 7th ring and shit. But like, you guys in the music industry, what you know you got to do is start getting small artists and put them on the organization rolling around and connect them with Live Nation.
and then we're gonna get a bunch of smokers, and then you'll be able to make your money off of that. And then if we take all Cardi's doing good, we'll make them take the blue pill about scams, and then let you know for us.
Put your head down and secure the target.
Don't worry about him. He's a lunatic. Don't worry about him. Does any of that sound right or sound accurate to you?
Using A.
I don't know if it's in our control, but you can see. Wait a second.
You can see my eyes to the mask right there. You don't know if it's that control. So.
Using A. We're losing Alpha. Hostile reinforcements are low. We're contesting A. Losing Bravo. Don't be fooled. One victory is not the war.
What is it? And then whoever needed, I make the calls and put it together, and then he'll run with it. It's a lot of things he did minus me, like his thing with the
Shoot
ball
to kill.
players.
We're not here to negotiate.
Now that was what he built for self.
What is it? It's just him.
Like
Just
like
football
the
over there?
relationships with like Draymond Green, shit like that. Now Shaq, that was us. That was actually Stutterbox. That was Stutterbox in the whack day. Right? I remember one time,
Taking
I
Alpha.
believe it was in Houston. He had just come home, and he was standing outside All-Star Weekend or whatever, and nobody would let him in. Nobody knew who he was.
Right.
Well, the second time was moving a little strong with Shaq. See, and pulled him in. That was Shaq's first interaction with him, because Box was Shaq's right hand
Do you
man.
think Shaq left LA because of the game politics, aka Big Youth?
No. Shaq was already going. Shaq made you Shaq. On fucking Star Island.
Okay.
Yeah, he was already on Star Island. He was already back in Florida. He had the big crib on that. And Shaq ain't never been ran out of nothing, man. Like, everybody loved Shaq. Like, Shaq, that's family now.
That part of the indictment where they're basically talking about how a bunch of NBA players got scammed by another player,
Stop.
and then he makes them like hand over $100,000 keys to him and shit.
Because I was doing a lot of business with Shaq at the time. He was one of the first people to send over the 40-foot trailer, like with the toys and stuff, to give away for like Christmas.
Okay.
So you gotta understand, like all like Shaq looks up. Yo, Shaq brought snow to Watts. You know that?
Got a snow machine or something?
He brought the snow to the projects. He went over there and they was like, yo, we want to see the snow. Somehow had him go up there to the mountains, get a bunch of snow, and bring it in and just put snow all through the projects.
You can pay people to just pull up with like a machine that makes snow.
No, he had him go up
We don't
to
have
like
the
Big Bear or
Like
something
a real snow.
and get the snow. So whenever you come to certain large guys and they see like, okay, you're doing something for the kids, and you can visually see he's giving his stuff away to the kids, right? They don't mind being a part of that. The dude that spray ground backpacks, that's my guy. He gave you one, I believe, 5 years ago.
Backpack.
He was hanging with Big Kid late night somewhere. He gave you a backpack, a white one.
A white
You had a
backpack.
red hat and said you're only white boy
These are
with a red hat.
That was at the T.I. and Young Thug mini shit, which
Fuck
now,
you.
in retrospect, I'm thinking, what kind of arrangement was struck that would allow these guys to shoot
We
this
put him
video?
with T.I.
That was in Hollywood too. So I don't know.
What I'm saying is, like even that's a plug that come through us. He's a Muslim brother. If you go back,
Enemies are
I did an
contesting zone
exclusive
B.
spray ground run with Red spray ground back with Game. We did the giveaway at all the shoot houses.
Controlling
I'm surprised
Bravo.
that Big Dude didn't make me pay to wear that red hat.
Nah, he was just bullshit. He don't
There's
care
only one
about no
traitor
gangbanging
left.
You
like
know where that
Eliminate
was though?
them.
That was at that one
Taking B.
studio where everybody makes jokes about it because it was used in one of the Batman movies. It's got all like the
the
panels
lights, the
with the
panels.
lights
That's on
on
the
the
east side.
ceiling. Yeah.
On the east side. Yeah, I know exactly. I filmed over there before. So you gotta remember, like, you
Already
know,
dead. Just haven't realized.
Reed, when I'm reading,
Good job.
I've never seen him operate in that capacity.
Okay.
But that just goes back to the stories you hear. Who is just boom, 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 boom. So it just looked to me like he went into survival mode and you know, started. I know the dude.
Good moves, more hell. Too bad I was ripping your teammates apart. You would have done good, buddy. You would have done good.
Hostile shooter. 5 down.
Face-off kill confirmed. Let him have it, Swagger.
Hostile target. Contact drone. Here we go.
Nice. We're pulling ahead.
BDA 1 down. You can't hide. Watch your aim. Hostile gone. I got a mover.
RTC's in the red. It's now or never.
5 enemies. Neutralized. Enemy on foot. Hostile incendiary.
Enemy throwing stun. Was that your best shot?
Target is done.
That's right, you shithead. The CIA's nothing
When we come
without
prepared,
us.
they don't stand a chance.
You know, they
I'm like, how could I like turn into content? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's content, right? I get 100 calls a day, motherfuckers telling me shit. You heard me listening to some of you. Oh, that's just shit coming through random, right? I'm not bad. I don't know if it's real or not. So at this point in time, I'm like, all right, Tink runs murder mystery. I'm gonna let her run the murder mystery, be the new shit, and then we're just gonna plug this into it. So here it comes. 600 starts to panic. He says, bro, they like Dick. I got it from the police. I'm like, well, just run the narrative, man. Tell them motherfuckers. Shit, don't look at it like that. Look at it like, shit. Why you look at it like I'm running the narrative for the police? It could be look like that I'm looking out for the streets. It could be looked at all kind of ways, right? So now 600, I ain't gonna lie, he got a little nervous. Because they start coming at him with the, why you running this shit? You get what I'm saying? This is why I don't know if you know this. I kind of been going overboard, trying to like take some of the heat off of him.
On 600?
Yeah,
well, it seems like he's leaning into it.
He's
running around with a badge on.
But that's what I told him. I said, at this point, bro, the other shit is hard. That call, what the police said coming after the station, that's not real. That's his homeboy that recorded something. And he's just playing it. But to the world, it's real. Right? It shocked me when they called me that morning, talking about the feds and all this shit. I was like, and then when I read that shit, I don't know that big. I can honestly say on some real shit, and I'm treading lightly, because now that I know, and the reason why I know the lady's real now, because somebody called me a day ago and said she did a TMZ interview. So I know if Harvey's interviewing somebody, he done did his due diligence on who people are. So I don't know what the lady looks like, but whenever it comes out, we'll be able to see. This big you that I'm reading about on the indictment, I don't know him.
You have to see the strong arming random.
I used to see him break himself. He would spend his last on the kids.
Okay.
You know what that dude used to charge the kids? $100.
For what?
To play football. Jack only recovered 20% of what that cost.
Well, that makes sense.
So what he would do is, he would call everybody, hey, like, I wrote checks for like, give me like 9 youth short, 18 shoulder pads and 6 helmets. How much that cost? $2,500. I write a check to Crenshaw folks, 9U, whatever, right? So the big thing out there with kids has always been like, people don't initially get a count to how many kids like you get going to college and shit like that, right?
So if I had asked you a couple months ago, what percentage of money that is being donated to Big U and his charity is actually being spent on charitable stuff? You would have thought 100%.
Because not outside the football shit, right? Let me tell you what else. Kids, you got a kid, I see it's like a continuation school down there. It's like, I think it's a place where they got the Nipsey basketball court. I went down there before to talk to the kids. This one kid, he's like, yo, man, why you keep fighting? We got you, why you keep fighting? We're like, man, they talk about my clothes, they talk about my shoes. Right? And when we left, he said, man, I feel you because, you know, I always had big feet, so I couldn't really get all the different shoes everybody had. So I was seeing this party. Because I remember one day we went to like Men's Land in the Slauson, in the Fox City Park. And we went in there, and the shoes dude, he said, what kind of shoes you want? And the shoes he wanted, they were like $600 shoes. So when we went in there, he told me, like, hey, bro, these ain't for me. Can you work with me on the price? Because they for a kid that a distressed kid. So I was seeing more of this popular than that. I would also see like like if you would have asked me, like just one-on-one, like what, but I feel like, God, that type of shit he's just.
So you're saying
like, this shit right here, I brought up that everything on worth. Dang.
So you're saying you consider him a philanthropist and overall like a guy who was giving, but also not a great businessman and definitely not a master criminal. Because when you look at so much of this stuff, it's like, if you want to embezzle funds from the government under the guise of COVID relief or whatever, I assume there's a way to do it that would not put such heat on you.
But this is the thing. I met Big U in 2004. So this is the Big U that went to prison, really embraced Islam. He had already, from my understanding, created development options from prison. His son that played for the Chargers, he was paid in prison on family business. You get what I'm saying? So the Big U we met, he came trying to understand and figure out some things. He done been gangbanging. You know, and that was one of the first risks he went on somebody's platform. Breakfast Club, he went to somebody's platform and said, if he would have been out, Death Row could not have.
You see that on Vlad? I was just about to ask you about that.
That was one of our phones lit up. What's up with this?
He said if he was free, there wouldn't have been no death row, which is kind of a wild statement because how would he, no matter how powerful he was, how would he have been able to stop Suge Knight who operates on completely different politics from signing ours. Now, he did sign a bunch of Crips and whatnot.
No, you're not hearing me. Listen. I told you earlier, I got blowback from how close I was getting to him. First, it was even letting him come to the table of business. Because our whole movement was, can't nobody make no money with war going on. Mm-hmm. So if I got these artists and I'm beefing with you, and every time we do a concert or a club or a video shoot, y'all showing up shooting it up. And then when we hear you doing something with yours, we doing the same. Ain't nobody benefiting from that. So it's like, okay, you got one artist, cool. You got one. So if it came, let's say Big U had T.I., right? But we put him with T.I. If a problem came up with somebody was like, hey, we want to book T.I., or hey, we got an issue with T.I., instead of that individual approaching T.I., they'll just talk to him, and then we'll let Big U go talk to T.I., and they find resolution. So this is why from like 08 to about 2018, 19, you wasn't hearing video shoots getting shot up, niggas getting robbed at the studio. You saw an increase of Crip and Blood concerts through K-Day. That's where SKG come from. You know, my man AD. To where now we got Crips and Bloods on the roster. Backstage, we got 100 gang members, niggas beefing, but it's all love because everybody there is tied to somebody at the table. And everybody get their money, everybody stay safe. And so now people was running into people, and it was all love. So that's what we was doing. I tried to, every meeting I had, well, my career back then, I was doing business with a dude named Johnny Yee out of South Korea. I took Big U to the meet, not because he was part of it, because I wanted him to hear it. So now you know if something pops up, we have a resource over there. He might be in New York, and they're like, yeah, Big, we trying to do this in South Korea. You know what he gonna say? I can get it done. He'll just call me on the phone with this dude, and we work it out. But this what I'm reading, what I just heard last night, I don't know that guy.
Based on what I'm hearing from a lot of people, I haven't personally read through the indictment, but everybody I know who has spent some time reading the indictment has basically texted me and said, Big U is fucked.
They had like bugs in places, I guess, where they thought it was safe to talk at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
People worry about their phone. They don't worry about there being a bug in the room.
It's a lot on there. It's a lot on there, and it's a lot of people that gave statements or whatever, right? But y'all don't. I've never. Me and Big U never sat down and said we're gonna go extort this dude or rob this dude. It was always a conversation on. We fix the problem. This is going on. Hey, bro, don't you know such and such? Yeah, can you give him a call because such and such called, said this is going on. Let's see if we can work it out. That's what we was doing. It was called, the movement was called Bridging the Gap. And you know, and I would get my plugs. We all shared our plugs. Like, I met Marley Marl through Big U. Right? Because it was no different than, yo, Marley, this is my brother Wack, this Marley. Y'all exchange numbers in case y'all need each other. This for Wack does, this for Marley do. I got a platinum record out of Marley. Right? K Slade. And a few other my people, Big U met directly with me to where they didn't have to call me to talk to each other. Because if we all moving as one, you know we moving as one. Right? So, but I'm not saying it didn't happen because that'd be a disrespect to the family. I already did that because I thought they was trolling me with the initial call.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way if I knew they was real, I would have did that. I just thought they was bull. I got a sister that don't know the year her brother was killed. I got a lady claiming to be the mama telling me the police told me they gonna do this. And I'm like, lady, ain't no police telling you when they gonna go, because I know it's putting dude in jeopardy. It's putting him in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying?
But a sympathetic officer, detective, or whatever could mention
it's
casually.
Not practical though.
It's not something I would consider normal, but you know, if he felt for the parents, he maybe wanted to kind of tip them off on what was going on.
Yeah, but see, this is the reason why they don't do that.
Yeah.
Because the parent could go tell somebody, and then it comes out. Or they may have a mindset, we want to kill this dude ourselves.
The feds were probably at least a little bit annoyed because the RICO seemed like it was maybe a little bit rushed. Like they probably would have appreciated a little bit more time to get this together. But instead, it's all being talked about on podcasts and shit so much that they probably felt like they had to kind of rush in.
Like, we didn't believe what they was talking about was real.
Right.
You telling me?
Yeah, right. Though you and 600 were you sat across from me and told me straight up that this was going to happen, and then it happened. And 600 was even earlier when making Instagram videos about it.
We made our narrative off the recorder. We just pressing play. Right. When he sat up there with all these other people, Stutterbox called me the other day. He said, "Well, I feel bad." Even though we got our issue.
The only problem that it was.
He said, even though we got our issue, he asked me to do that. He said, bro, if you called and asked me to do that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, this fool was really like he was trying to run a narrative on us. So you gotta remember, right now, got some people out there, Joe Budden being one of them, a few of these other little podcasters that they just said some shit, right? And you said some shit back so that they strong enough. But it's some bullshit. And this what they pushing it to so well together. Because 10% they can come out and not and say it's fake. They still won't believe it. 10% no, let's be real, right?
It was so wrong.
So he made his play. So they really trying to antagonize with his signing up for football series coming up.
We wanted to with the football players.
Oh, you all right? You always doing it. You all right, baby? Baby hurt that knee.
This is social media, bro. Come on, we sit up where they be telling their stories, and we looking at each other like,
all right.
We still pushing about their life. And we think, you know what? It's interesting for you.
The only problem is that you and Luce are sitting here telling me that Big U's about to have this murder put on them. This is coming after the initial allegation that Big U had advanced knowledge that Dipsy was going to get killed. And then even beyond that, Luce sat right here and told me that Aaron Holder was about to make a statement. He was saying that Aaron Holder was going to tell on Big U, and that Aaron Holder was going to get out the next day. I hold
on. When he says it's not true, because they got that, today Big U's watching the live, and it says justice for Nick, and he starts laughing. Okay. In his interview, I will show you how likely this is. Black Sim in his interview and kind of like authenticated the DJ Khaled shit, right? That's when Loose County comes along.
I think he said that before. No, he said that before.
That nigga said that shit because he wanted his narrative. There'd be a lot of shit being said that y'all don't know. So let me tell you what Loose County is big, you know. Loose County, I said, any and everything Alex Alonso does, anybody gets on this platform, just speak against Loose County. Big you.
Clean shot.
That's what they see. Let's interview this person, speaking on him. That's Big U's work.
So you think Alex is a Big U agent?
No, it's with Loose Cannon.
He thinks so.
I think Alex, Big U, the Big U sent him something cool. Has Big U sent him something? Yes, but I think Alex has told you of what you do. You love to do your research.
Loose hates that much because he interviewed his ex-girlfriend, his ex-wife and everything.
Bro, this is what I'm trying to tell you. In Loose Cannon's mind, everything Alex allows him gets him. Even his brother being up there. So shut up.
He did interview his brother.
I never had to always put it down. No. He could be 32, 42. He could be having only one people. This
and further explain that she had Loose Cannon.
So this one right here, on my phone, I think he said, locked up. Yeah, he was locked up. And he was like, yo, you know, you set that up, like, right? And why did you say this? Why did you say that, right? Because he like, don't nobody know you to be pulling you up. So,
Gearing up for a final push. Hope you left someone to pay.
like everything Winston did was, he got the big see things. It's on me. So I'm gonna be real. No social media. Somebody called me, and it's one of the statements. They said it's with it. Sit back and take 3 months and go investigate something. Hey, I know this, I know that. Hey, what else you know? Are you willing to say that? You can I record you? Or you want to fill out that form? Yeah, that's all. Come see. Come see if you're on. That's all satisfaction. Just anything satisfaction.
Hang on. Let me call Langley.
Because we know that's a satisfaction, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't want to diss. I'm saying read what I read. I don't. Just the diss song thing is not adding up.
Some people think this is our boy. Some people hit me up and they think that Vlad has been compromised by Big U. Now, the evidence to suggest that Vlad seemed very uncomfortable at times during our interview when we had the massive last episode with all 5 of us, 6 of us, or whatever. Vlad wouldn't say anything bad about Big U. He was kind of using the like rinky-dink pro Big U arguments of being like, well, every time I was around him, he was a nice guy or whatever. Obviously, this doesn't mean much. He made it clear to me that every time you've ever gone off on Big U on Vlad TV, he edited it out.
No, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you.
Could have spared myself some issues. Could I have done that?
No, I'm gonna be real with you. Because I know, I think Vlad just got a lot of respect for him. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a good relationship.
I don't know where they.
I don't think he's being extorted or anything. It's just kind of a fun.
And because I know this, and because I got respect for Vlad, I tend to try not to go at Big U on his platform. I'm even saying this gonna be regarding to your little friend, so we don't need to talk about it, right? Because I know, right? That's like, you know. But is he being? No, I think he's gonna start looking crazy if the craziness goes on.
And he still won't have a real conversation.
Yeah, you don't have a real conversation because Vlad has real conversations about everybody.
Because in the same Vlad interview that I did, it's like 3 hours long, but we're talking about Dirk and we're talking about Big U. The accusations about both of them are very similar. And he's being so honest and open and transparent about how he feels about the Dirk thing. And then meanwhile with Big U, it's like, man, Big U is such a good guy.
Maybe, listen, I'm going to be real. I really had to really put my money on it.
Face off team deathmatch.
And it's just me.
Eliminate all
Vlad, my guy.
We claimed
I
the
think
advantage,
maybe
now hold it.
Big U might have did him a solid. Maybe something was going on. Maybe helped him fix. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he helped him get out of the situation of maybe some bullshit. Vlad ain't paying. He ain't doing that no more.
It's possible that there was some sort of favor exchange, but I think that Vlad in general just really appreciated the fact that Big U did his first interview with him. He always showed him respect. They had a real cool relationship, which is the opposite of Dirk, where they had a cool relationship and then Dirk basically blew off their friendship and has dissed him in a bunch of songs. So Vlad does have every reason to be hard on Dirk and to go soft on Big U, but at a certain point, it's kind of like, well, you know, Vlad loves to re-up clips. He re-ups like a clip a day or whatever from old interviews. We have not seen any Big U clips getting re-ups, which is far different than how we treat this.
We asked him, and I try to stay off of Big U. remarks when I'm on blast. Like, I know that's his guy, right?
But it has been suggested by a lot of people that you're basically a completely different person on the line. You're super respectful. And on here, you're just a bad man.
Okay, we gotta remember. Setup, right?
Yeah.
Blind setup is, and they don't know, they don't see on that. He already knows what he wants his to be like.
Sure.
And here, you got a setup. But sometimes you'll start with that, and because something in that, stand up to something else, because you say something else.
Looked at the topic.
This is what I'm saying. So this is more of a freestyle on what we do, right? Not just because we can do it.
It's unpredictable.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, so you know, like, look, my apologies to the family. I'm gonna be real. I didn't think you was real family. I just pointed out why I didn't think you was real family. And to this day, I only believe you're now a real family if you believe that you're TMZ. That's what if you're those people that was on here, then my apologies. If you're not, it's
my favorite current new narrative is basically take like me and Big Deal. When me and Big Deal do content together, what am I really doing? I'm paying him to do an interview so that he will essentially smear T-Rail. That's how I was doing battle at that time.
You know what he's going to do.
A lot of people have suggested that the evil genius behind WAG 100 said, here's Loose Cannon. He's not necessarily committed enough to realize the play that I'm going to do, but I'm going to befriend this guy who used to be super close to Big U. I'm going to take Loose Cannon, I'm going to elevate him, bring him on the podcast like No Jumper, and then I'm going to basically allow him to say things that will be bad for Big U, whether criminally, streets, etc. I do believe that you're capable of that sort of espionage.
Okay, so there's a little truth in that, and there's a lot of bullshit in that. Okay, so...
And intent is different than how it actually played out.
So, of course, Loose Cannon's approach Big U, right? What up, Big U? Is that right? That's what's going on? All right, so I'll sit back, I'll watch. Hey, bro, I'm going to make you remember this. We got a TV show coming out. Can you help me promote it? Right? Now, if you think about it, after I brought him up here, personally sent him to academics. I said it. You didn't hear what I said? He said you lined me up. He said you lined me up and said you was coming with me.
You didn't have to tell me. As soon as I saw Loose Academics, I thought, oh, that's a whack.
That's a whack.
That's a whack. Yeah.
Right? I said Loose, right?
And then you did.
Yeah, right? This is what he brought the big deal. So I'm thinking he going to the show, and I believe he's talking about the show. They just funny to some other shit.
I mean, Ac's going to figure out what the good shit is. And I think, when he told me about allegedly extorting Rick Ross and Meek Mill and the club, everything, we're just like blown away, just confused. I didn't know. No, at that time, no, not at all. Ac really seized upon that and like went into way more detail about it.
Because he was Ac and Meek was that. But this hot was Cap. So it's a dude over there, no matter what it ever happened. Me and Meek, whatever. It's a dude over there, always love and respect.
A chaser?
No, his name is TV Mac. Get a chaser. Okay. Get a chaser. TV Mac. They've been home maybe about 6-8 months or whatever. Even when the shit going on, when I landed in Philly, TV Mac see me. Come on, be great. That's brother. Before shit going on. Yeah, we got our brotherhood, right? TV Mac. This is back. Tell me you want me and shot TP Bay 20 times in the head. That I'm like, because you got to kill TP.
You're saying TP ain't laying down.
TP ain't laying down for nobody. He ain't laying down for nobody, right? So now I'm seeing that it's 10, 15 others really doing it. Right? This is what I believe. I believe it's not even that club. It's just how we knew who was in the club. Right? Only somebody told him who was in the club. So what Loose would do, he'll take some shit he may have saw some stories people may have told him, and then he'll insert himself, and then he'll tell the story. But if you hear the true story, you always catch 2 or 3 things that's like, no, he said it was that, but it was really that. Come on, bro, you really think? Do you really think? Look, I always with Meek like that, right? Meek is not taking his jury off, and his security is not stepping away.
Right.
To hand it to a dude.
That was hard to believe, yeah.
Right? Let me explain to you why Big U wouldn't allow that to happen. One reason, they're all Muslim. See, when you talking to me about certain shit, I understand the overall politics. They're all Muslim, and they're from Philly. It's real brothers. You've talked to one when Nick was here. On the phone, I called him. That are our go-to for our big business, that are real Muslim, who no Muslim could allow that to happen to a Muslim. They serious about that. TV, all them dudes, I don't know if it's Meek is or not, but it don't matter what Meek is. Those other brothers are with me.
Face off team deathmatch. We have our orders. See it through.
Big U is not going to send his homies at the Muslim. He's a Muslim. It's not going to happen.
I assume, and I assume a lot of people out there are assuming that there's some sizable portion of people saying that they're Muslim who absolutely do not have a problem with extorting or robbing some of them.
Listen, I don't think it's Muslims.
There's got to be a lot.
I'm telling you, a Muslim I know, and it's a lot of Muslims watching this, I'm pretty sure you see the top. They're not going to allow or call the shot and send 9 Muslims.
When put them window things on our old house. You know the people that came to town, and when I got home from work, you had them put installed windows, security and all this stuff, and we had to take it out.
Oh.
They did that for after. They take it out. Remember that? The ADT? That's who did it.
That's why people think that people are being opportunistic.
They don't want it.
No, they don't want it.
How much they pay a month?
They lied. They told them it's fake. It's crazy.
But there's no way.
I don't know how they got to do that.
So let's get back to it.
Why don't they just get the ring camera?
Is reality show. Right. And I was pumping it as I was pumping it because at that time the owners was telling me what, if you can make this perform, I'm gonna give you a contract to 3 of your own shows. I got all that on my phone,
Right? I feel like Aaron the Plumber kind of like became what you were trying to turn through standards. And I also think Aaron the Plumber borrowed some of the 4 extra personas. It's like these guys are playing a similar character of like, look how tough I am, I'll fade anybody, and I'm entertaining.
And guess what else he done? He called the person we don't know 38 times, texting me crazy shit, and I did. Like, I don't know a lot of shit you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about. You gotta show me like these new sensations people putting up. I'm not down here seeing them as they sprout up. By the time you hear about them, they've been around 9 months or something, right? So, that's the keep it with you. I did a great job. I started working February. Summertime, I had Loose on 2K. He was on 2K. You never know me to go to these no ass podcasts. I did that for you. I didn't do that for me. In case I would have been going on to it. No Tucker, Blue Banks had. Look, I'm in 2 hours. You know, thank my boss for doing the job. Just want to make us open.
You went on around
a bunch of little bitty shits. That's because we're dead and cause and we know, man, we're going to split whack or whatever we do. You're like, yeah, I can get back together with you. Right? You're like, So I would go, like this time, like, all right, I am fucking him. So I would go and a lot of shit he was talking about, I was sitting there, let's talk. And on camera, and this was with my guy and say, you a motherfucking liar. You get what I'm saying? Because it takes away from the side of it. You get what I'm saying? I'm topics. I do I just go lay back. I'll be like, you know, right there, right. I'm like, yeah. Back in. What's up, but I'm with you. You know what I mean? So, in hindsight, I'm gonna say this. This situation that's taught me is just a very thin line. What people perceive as real, this bullshit, that they will still tell you is real. You know that even if I told shit, we gonna push it out there, they voice, we don't give a fuck. They lie, they know police telling this lady don't even know what year they got your shit cap. It's gonna piss him off. The same way he irritated me with the shit he did. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get calls from people like, yo, that's not bad, bro. The nigga asked me.
I think people are super hyper aware of the fact that a ton of stuff online is fake. So then, as soon as the federal indictment comes down, and they're like, here's something that is 100% not fake. Let's get into this. And that will capture something.
Okay, I'm like, listen, call me, you sit down.
Yeah, almost never. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's not coming up like extension stories.
Right.
A zillion jail stories.
As soon as you have one video,
a zillion stories of shit that has happened in the streets. You don't hear me talk about the close thing you don't hear me say is, I saw such and such get kicked in the ass. I should have slapped such and such, I saw it. Right? You're not saying we're going at that individual, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about that's not done the time, or it's already, they didn't did the time, it's not the record. They can't really talk about some shit that
this sit next to you going into great detail about robbing weed shops with Big U and Big U not properly splitting up the proceeds afterwards and scamming people and all this kind of stuff. Is there any part of you that in your head was like, this was only a couple of years ago, you could easily still get in trouble for this? Because honestly, that did not cross my mind.
He told the story. I was sexual already. You tell Superman stories on the streets, even if you pull up on your house. We always talk about, always shot two people. We never talk about, we always shot two. Right? We don't talk about that, right? So when I hear him say, we went in the spot, they took everything, and then 30 minutes later, the dude for the spot is walking in the house. Hey, nothing about that shit sound real. Like, come on, bro. What are we talking about? And rob you.
Right.
30 minutes later, you're walking through the house of the people that robbed you. So at this point in time, I'm gonna rock and roll with him. Oh yeah? And what else happened? Oh man, he told us to give him this. I'm like, oh, so now the troll is on. I'm gonna pay the narrative.
Right.
Oh, you know why he told me beat all y'all? He took half of that and still made y'all to cut up with that. Right? So I'm just gonna pump it. I'm gonna troll it and rock with it. But bro, nobody believes that a motherfucker just went and robbed somebody. And then the person that y'all robbed comes to the safe house where you guys are counting up what you just took from him.
Yeah. Strange.
Nobody brings the victim back to the spot where he can call the police.
Right.
Or some other dudes. Hey, bro, the dude that robbed me is over here. They just brought me to the spot. You rob them and then say, pull up over